will be presenting our presentation, Cycle of the Cure, How Pure Data Propels Houston Methodist to Leading Medicine. A quick outline of our presentation. We'll both give a little bit of introduction and context of our talk. Colleen will tell you about how our pure data is mapped to houstonmethodist.org, and then I will go through some examples of how Pure supports us through our entire cycle of the cure. Before we start, just apologies for any resolution issues with the small text. We think we'll still be able to effectively communicate everything we need to today. So we're joining from Houston, Texas in the United States. We've traveled over 5,000 miles, over 8,000 kilometers to be with you today. And when I say we're from Texas, you may think of tumbleweeds rolling across the desert, or people riding around on their horses, or training our kids in rodeo at a young age. You may have thought Colleen and I would have shown up here in our cowgirl boots and our cowgirl hats. But although we do own cowgirl boots, I think there's so much more that Texas and Houston has to offer that people don't really think about. So Houston is the 4th largest city in the US, and it's actually the #1 most ethnically diverse US metropolitan area. And because of this large, diverse population, there is an incredible culture around us. So we have a great theater district, a great museum district, many professional sports teams, and we even have NASA right outside of our city limits. But I think, though all of this is really not well known about Houston, the #1 most uncelebrated thing is that we are home to the world's largest medical center, where Houston Methodist is located.
So what you see in the center of that slide is you see what looks like a small village, a small town, and that's actually the Texas Medical Center, which I'll refer to as the TMC. You'll see a lot of buildings on the horizon. That's actually downtown Houston. But we certainly have an enormous amount of patient encounters. Approximately 180,000 surgeries occur in the Texas Medical Center every year. That breaks down to about one surgery every 3 minutes, a baby born every 20 seconds. So yeah, there's a fair amount of things going on in Houston. I think 120,000 employees come in through the Texas Medical Center every day. And that's about 3 times the population of Dubrovnik. So it gives you an idea of, it really is a small town. So Houston Methodist is in the center of the Texas Medical Center. We're composed of 8 hospitals. Now, there is one hospital, the flagship hospital, and that is located within the TMC. And then there are 7 other hospitals that are located strategically around the Houston metropolitan area. We were established in 1919. Our flagship hospital was established in 1919. And then in 2005, we established a research institute. So the hospital is an academic medical center, and U.S. News and World Report has ranked us in very high regard for quality of care, hospital reputation, the patient experience, and also patient outcomes. U.S. News and World Report has ranked us #1 hospital enterprise in Texas, and then also we're considered among the best in the nation. So, as I mentioned, we were established in 1919, and then the Research Institute was established in 2005. So together with that, we refer to ourselves as the Academic Institute. We serve nearly 800 faculty members, and so that is our Pure Portal consists of actually over 800 faculty profiles. We have about 550,000 square feet of designated research space, and our annual extramural funding is at approximately $88 million. So because we are patient care and a research entity, our primary focus is translation medicine, which means taking what we have in the laboratory and bringing it to the bedside in a very short period of time. That is our vision, that is our goal. And Houston Methodist, we refer to that as the cycle of the cure. And the cycle of the cure, it really begins and ends with patient care. And so we endeavor to identify and then meet those needs in innovation. So we thought it would be really helpful. So how do we accomplish all of this? We thought it would be helpful to show you our data model, first of all, and then I'll show you how the pure data is mapped over to the faculty directory. And so we can have more of a, well, I'll get to that point. So you can see that we have collaborations in a worldwide, across the world. We have, this is our map from 2022. We very actively use the collaboration feature in Pure for finding local, regional, national, and international collaborators. So the data model is set up so that we have some automated syncs into the Pure portal, and then we also have manual entries into the Pure portal. For our research output, we have Scopus as a weekly sync into Pure. Since we are so heavily medically focused, our users can pull publications in from PubMed, and then we do have the altmetric attention donuts as an accent to those research output. So we also have our grant system, our grant applications, and our grant funded research. That's what's represented by the words Morty and the circles Morty and Mars in the bottom right-hand quadrant, and that syncs into our projects and our grants and the experts profiles. And then that is all synced into Pure. That's all automatically. Actually, the grants modules, those are synced in every day. And that is synced into Pure. Now, what you see in the very center is what we refer to as Houston Methodist Scholars. That's synonymous with Pure. That's what our users refer to it internally. And then that is all mapped, well, 80% of that data is mapped into houstonmethodist.org. I do have some manually inputted data, and that's represented on the left-hand side. So we have manually built our hierarchy, and then also prizes are manually added by our users. So we were implemented with Laura's team in 2015, and we went live in 2016. And so we also launched a brand new website during that time. So we wanted to maximize the Pure implementation into what we refer to as hm.org, the houstonmethodist.org website. And so about 80% of our Pure data is mapped over to our website. So I mentioned that, that we're a hospital, we're a research institute, and so all of that is under one website, which was very different. That was a change in 2015. So if you're looking for a faculty member, you can search by name, and there's a search field right there. We also have the research area keyword filter that you see in Pure. That is a drop-down on our faculty directory. So if you're searching for any area of research, for example, my example is going to use the director of the Cancer Center. Her profile displays, when you're searching for her name or a variation of her name, pops up here, and you can see her title block. That's the landing page. Her name and her post-nominals list. So what you're going to see on the left-hand side are all of the field names for Pure, and then how it displays on the right-hand side is how it displays in the faculty directory. So it has the title block, the post-nominals. You see the affiliated organizations display in the profile. And then over on the right-hand side, you see the areas of interest. Those are the free text keywords. In our Pure profiles, our users can add as many free text keywords as they wish, but I let them know that the first 4 that they list will display there on their profile. So I selected View Profile, and then it launches me over to her entire profile in the faculty directory. And you see a composite of the title block, the organizations, the job descriptions, and then underneath all of that, her lab link. We also encourage people to put their emails. Most of the physicians don't use their email in their profile. But if they do have a lab link, or if they have some sort of a leadership position in a program or a center, they'll put a URL for that as well. And then if you would like to go see just to view the entire research network, we have a toggle button up there at the right-hand side. If someone is a physician, they have a separate clinical profile that is actually managed by a completely separate group. And so we have a toggle button. You see the arrow right there. It says View Clinical Profile, and then that toggles over to Dr. Cheng's clinical profile, and then I can toggle back to her faculty profile. The personal profile field in Pure displays as the biography, research interests, display as description of research. Free text keywords are displayed as area of expertise. Education and qualification is displayed there. And then also we do, if someone is a physician and they have an active clinical trial, we of course want to let our patients know that these clinical trials are active. So any active clinical trials, that is mapped over from a local database. That does not come from Pure, but that is displaying there on the physician's profile. We have the research output displays underneath those clinical trials. We list 20 of their most current research output, and they're all listed in chronological order. And we don't limit it to a specific content type. We allow all content types. And then if you want to view the entire body of work for the faculty profile, for the faculty's academic, then you just press the button on the bottom of the profile, and it says View Full Citations. And then of course they will be viewing the PubMed, the Scopus, all of those profiles, and then they're redirected completely over to Pure. So what Nicole will tell you now is she has an example of the Neurological Institute, and she'll be bringing you through all of our use cases for all of our stakeholders and how that ensures the cycle of the cure.
Alrighty, so as Colleen said, I'll walk you through our cycle of the cure. I've simplified it here for the sake of the exercise, but I'll be providing some examples of how Pure does support throughout the entire cycle, beginning and ending with patients. So, empowering patients. Many of our clinicians working at Houston Methodist are also involved in conducting research and clinical trials, and as Colleen was saying, that is all mapped to our website through Pure. And this allows patients to find this information on their clinicians on the same website where they are scheduling appointments with those clinicians. So going with our neurological example, if a patient has a neurological condition, they can go to our website and find information on the 42 clinician faculty in that institute conducting 259 clinical trials, and they can also stay up to date on all of the current research being done by these clinicians. Enabling students and trainees. So on the website, we have information on any faculty that are interested in accepting students or mentoring trainees. They can find information of the lab websites on multiple places. You can see where the boxes are. And additionally to the lab websites, they can find information on training grants that faculty may have. For example, Dr. Horner has a T32 from the NIH, which is a prestigious training grant that trainees can reach out to him about. Advancing faculty researchers. So we all know that Pure is really powerful at highlighting intra-institutional and inter-institutional collaborations. Colleen and I get reached out to very often from faculty saying, what other faculty are doing research in Alzheimer's disease and engineering? That was one we got a couple weeks ago. That was interesting. But more unique to Houston Methodist in supporting faculty researchers is that we use the Faculty Academic Activities Report, the FAR module, and this is used for our basic scientists, their annual review. So it's 20% of their annual review, and it's also used for goal setting for their following year. We use Pure to support departments and centers. So this is one that I really harp on. I really appreciate that Pure is the source of truth for our COE affiliations, which are our centers of excellence, and then the departments and centers and programs that roll up to these centers. So this is useful to us for our Pure data, obviously, but then for data that is not necessarily in Pure or connected to Pure. We will receive a report or pull a report from a system that may not have the Center of Excellence field, but we're able to use our Pure hierarchy and map it to those reports, and then report by COE or Centers of Programs. Additionally, we pull reports quarterly for tracking of department academic goals, and that's used to track how they're doing, benchmark to the past, and plan for the future. Finally, we use Pure to fortify executive leadership. So something that our central administration is really involved in is providing funding for conference support. But there's nowhere, we don't really have a system for tracking our conference presence. And so we do this within our Pure activities content. So I did show a little picture of the report because, just side note, I am a big advocate of the new reporting module. I know that Melena's a great teacher of that, so new reporting module, I really like it. And again, on this slide too. So we also use our Pure reports to feed executive dashboards so that executives can know what's going on at the Research Institute, make decisions that, again, will ultimately affect the patients. So I'll end with this. Houston Methodist is always growing, and with it is our Pure instance. So these are a bunch of points that we came eager to discuss with everybody here and learn about how we can better our Pure instance. So our next steps in the next year, we want to implement the API connection between Pure, our data warehouse, dashboards, and strategic planning software. And then we really are interested in learning about current solutions or possible solutions for our Pure wish list, which includes NIH funding linked with faculty research output, a customizable CV module, customizable FAR module, and secondary appointment reporting. In summary, Pure continues to support Houston Methodist advancements. Our hierarchy provides a foundation for our reporting structure across the Institute. Pure drives collaboration within and throughout the world, and it's widely accessed, shared, and reported. Thank you for your time, and we're open to any questions.
The really perfect timing here.
Look at us.
Hi, thank you. That was very informative, and as you know, I'm very interested in all of this. I just have a quick question about the the grant module, do you use InfoEd or Cayuse, or what system, you have your little acronyms for that, but what's powering that?
It's an internally created system.
And it goes right to the federal government? It's all, no, okay.
No. We have it's called Morty,
Yeah.
Methodist, blah, blah, blah. And so all of the applications are submitted into Morty. It's all submitted to the federal government by our Grants and Contracts Office, and then it flows through back, once it's funded, it flows back through Morty, and it goes into Mars, another Methodist, blah, blah, blah.
That makes
goes
sense.
into Mars. So it's all internally.
Okay, so it's not direct to the application?
No,
Okay, great, thank you.
and that's the point that I was making about clinical trials. It's not coming from clinicaltrials.gov. It's yet another system,
Yes.
CTMS, that's the Clinical Trials
Yeah, we
Management
have that too.
System.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thanks for the question. And we're happy to talk with you later as well about any details that you need to know.
Thank you very much. I'm from the Netherlands, from Maastricht University, and we are working together with the hospital, but we are two organizations with one collaboration. My question is, because that's the problem for me in Pure, that we have two systems, so not all the medical people, they have research affiliations. So that must be in your place as well, because some, they only do patient care. So how do you go on with that? Are they also visible in Pure, and is everybody in Pure? That's my question.
It's required by faculty if someone wants to have a faculty appointment, if someone wants to be able to conduct research at Houston Methodist, they need a faculty appointment. They need to be credentialed through our faculty, a governance and faculty affairs office. And then in order to have access to research at all, they would need to have a faculty appointment. And the faculty appointment, we're very unusual. We are not a degree, we're very unusual on many levels, but we're not a degree granting institution. We have affiliation with Weill Cornell Medical College in New York. Don't ask me to explain that. But they do, they have either an appointment with the academic institute, the research institute, and or Weill Cornell Medical College. So, but it all is, we do have approximately, I would say at least 400 physicians who are credentialed and have a faculty appointment through Houston Methodist. Yep, good question, thank you. I think Dave has a question.
Colleen and Nicole, could you guys mention, you talked about how you're using the new reporting module. I wonder if you could just, since I know the answer, if you could tell people the process that you went from the old reporting module to what you're doing now today.
Sure. So I joined on about a year and a couple months ago, and that's really when we were switching from the classic reporting to the new reporting. So that's probably why, that's really what I learned and learned well, and like the logic of it. But so we did have a bunch of reporting definitions that were saved in the classic reporting module that we use often, so needed to move them over. So it was really about understanding the logic that report was put together within the classic reporting system, and then trying to puzzle that together with the new reporting system. What I appreciate about the new reporting system, though, is that I say, like, me and Colleen may have a different way of going about creating the same report. You can start with a different content type, but end up at the same report. So I think that kind of eases the transition from classic to, like, if you have report definitions that you need to move over, there's not like one answer to get to that same report in the new module, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Did that answer your question? I'm still heavily dependent on the classic module, but through gentle coaxing from Nicole, she's moving me closer and closer to the new reporting module, and plus with the support of Milena. Any other questions? We're happy to speak separately if you have any other questions. Thank you. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you.